Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope this day finds you well whenever and wherever you're watching this. My name's Stefan Senna. This is my channel, The Coherence Path, All Roads Lead to You. This is another video about one of my paintings of my series that generally is called Energy Imagery. It contains all of my images since my near-death experience in 1997. The images are expressed in many different styles, but they're all about consciousness. In 1997, I was told to paint. I had no interest in being an artist. I had been an artist as a kid, and a series of very unfortunate circumstances made me want nothing to do with art. And I had abandoned it completely. But things changed. I was transported, what we call, through a near-death experience or out-of-body experience, and shown different things. And I woke up from that in my limp body on the floor with the desire to paint what I had experienced. Since then, I just asked the question, what do I paint? And an image of visionary experience happens within my consciousness. Much like we dream, when I ask that question, I enter a dream, a vision, and it, in this painting, was exactly as you see it. So I'll talk about this painting and what I believe it means for me, at least in this moment, because meanings can change over time. But the general message that I get from this image and the experience I had is that it's illustrating a moment that happens to us thousands, if not millions of times a day as we go through our daily life. It can also represent poignant moments where we are in a focused state, experiencing something where we have a choice. So let's talk about the image literally first. There is a landscape, an oceanscape. It could be land, it could be the ocean. I interpret it as the ocean, a deep, rich, dark ocean, above which there is a horizon filled with clouds. And this could represent the aspect of how our lives, mentally and emotionally, can be sort of like a weather system. Now, there are moments that seem more like a storm. There are moments that just seem busy. There's moments that seem serene. We could have that meaning when we look out at the ocean on a cloudy day at night. In the middle of the image, you'll see two highlighted areas that are translucent that look sort of like glass or walls. And in this image, they are mostly visible toward the center, and then they dissipate as they travel across the canvas outward. In between these two translucent walls is a source of light coming from what appears to be a tear in the sky, or a vortex, or an opening, or that source itself just resides there within the environment, much like a star. If it descended down to this environment, it would appear solely on its own, lighting up the environment. Now, when I was in this experience consciously, it was more like a vortex. There was an opening, and light pierced through it and translated its energy out into the atmosphere. So that is literally what I painted on the canvas. That describes what I illustrated using black, white, and phthalo blue. Just those three ingredients. Now, moving on to this painting as a metaphor, I immediately recognized that the light in the center represented consciousness, the aspect of consciousness where we reside within our own awareness, undiluted, undistracted by the environment around us. That light within us piercing the darkness of the physical world within which we operate. And that the translucent walls are mirages, they're illusions, but yet vividly real to us in our lives. We might feel stress about things that we are experiencing, things that we have experienced or done, things that we are observing, things that we are creating within ourselves through the meanings we place on experiences. And these can be vividly real because they are creating stress within our mind. They're motivating us to take certain actions. We want to respond to these things by seeking control or answers, or just struggling with the stress of whatever it is. And though they seem ethereal or just what we term emotional or mental, oh, that's just a bad thought I had, or that's just a sad thought I had, or that's a sad feeling I had, or that's just the way I'm looking at things. It's not really real, but it's as real as anything else because it's within our awareness, and anything within our awareness moves from a very subtle sense and begins to cloud our judgment of our core being, of who we truly are. So that's why these translucent walls are moving toward the center or moving away from it. So this could be two different scenarios: that light, that clarity, that free will, that awareness of who we are could be experiencing things moving toward the center of our being that creates a lens that we then view the world through. That could be a meaning or a belief or an idea. Let's take relationships. We might know that state of awareness of who we are, that peace that resides there in unconditional love and kindness, but we might enter a relationship or have a relationship with, whether it's somebody at work or a personal relationship or family member or just a stranger, that we allow to move within our awareness, that then creates a lens through which we see the world. You have a new job, and the ideas of maybe your new boss really don't agree with your core being, but by allowing yourself to stay within that field of their lens, you acquire a new lens. That might be resistance toward them. It might be that their ideas start to change your own. And this happens in a myriad of different ways throughout our lives. And we have the choice to open up to ourselves and allow these lenses to part and to separate. In my mind, I'm looking at this image and I'm visualizing that these translucent walls are moving away from the center, and that the center is getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, and that awareness is becoming more free, more steady, more fearless, more calm, more at peace, to the point that these walls or lenses completely disappear, and that only that awareness resides within the environment. Now, I don't support the idea that we have a subconscious mind that acts like a program and makes us into robots. But if we think of our awareness in the center, and that these lenses, these walls, come to the center and become one, that awareness then is looking through one set of lens. Then we might have another experience wherein we place meaning that creates excuse me, another lens, and another, and another, and another. And these lenses will have different thicknesses and colors and aspects about them that clouds our own state of consciousness. And it's through this creation of our own consciousness, saying that these lenses are allowed, that we create the reality of our own experience. And over years, we may have dozens or hundreds of these lenses. And our own state of awareness, our own consciousness that naturally is open and loving and kind, becomes altered by these lenses. These lenses are then the only thing that others might see. They may only see a lens that has a particular meaning. And we may only see others through the meanings embedded in their own lenses. So, how can I use the information in this painting? And that is the core of my own personal work with this art and these visions. I can ask myself the question, is there a lens through which I am perceiving myself, others, or the world? What is the origin of that lens? What is the meaning of that lens? Is that meaning valid? And is it practical to hold on to that meaning as I move forward within my life? Then, like a dream, re-entered. If I choose, I can close my eyes, or if I'm talented or able with visionary images within my own consciousness, some people are and some people aren't, I can look at the image and just imagine that the lenses are moving toward the outside of the frame. Perhaps they're shattering and falling into the ocean and disappearing. Perhaps they're vaporizing and becoming nothing, and only the state of awareness remains as we say goodbye to the lens that is no longer serving us. So that's one example of how I use these images. And I can reflect back during my day. Let's say something happens that I have resistance with. Maybe I'm working and I have pain in my back. Now, I might have an embedded meaning within my consciousness that, oh, I'm getting older. Or I've injured my back before, and here it's recurring again. That's a lens. So in that moment, I can imagine those lenses moving to the outside of my consciousness and dissipating, and only my light being present, and then sharing that light with my body, accepting that my awareness is only unconditional love and kindness, and that allows my body to relax and let go and heal. Or I might be discussing something with someone, perhaps a client or a relationship, and there's some small granule of resistance. And within that, there is formed an idea or meaning. Oh, this person is this way. Or they don't understand this or that. Or, well, they're the way they are. I can't change that. Or they don't understand me. Or they're trying to do this or that, and I don't agree. All those things are lenses. And in that moment, if I'm aware, then I can imagine that lens just moving aside gently, dissipating and disappearing. And all that's left is awareness. There's no need to try to solve anything, to change anyone, to change myself, but just accept what is present in the moment. Because whether I initially am comfortable with it or not, the present moment is offering the only thing that we're ever offered, and that's an opportunity to either be in awareness or to look through a lens. And it is the series of lenses that we adapt that is the foundation of ego. Because these lenses inform our willing consciousness to look through them. They become the language through which we see the world. So that's the discussion about this image. I just finished painting it. It was a pleasure to do. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me. If you've had any experiences of your own that might relate to this video, feel free to share them. I appreciate you stopping by and spending your time with me here on this channel. If you want to spend time with one of these images and you don't want to hear my voice, just return it to the beginning, turn off the volume, maybe put on some music that you like, and just sit with it. Try sitting in a state of meditation, allowing the image to be active and alive within your consciousness, and see what may or may not occur. When you go to sleep at night, you could consider inviting this image into your consciousness to see if you dream something. It is our consciousness that quickens, enlivens, and gives form and meaning to images. The images in themselves await that awakening. Subscribe if you want. I appreciate your time today, and maybe I'll see you on the next video.